Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. Hey people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. Welcome. All right, people on Facebook, people on YouTube, and Periscope, glad to have you here. Glad you could join us. Hope that everyone had a safe weekend. Hope that everybody's cool, everybody's doing okay. I like to go first and check and make sure that people on Facebook and YouTube can hear the show. Let's do that first. We've had some irregularities on a couple of platforms. I think it was YouTube. All right, Johnsons. Mary Warren. What's up? Jilly Love. Michelle A. Truth Can't Be Silenced. Thank you, my friend. Mike Sarvis. Progressive Kev. Tina Lulu Mac. It's TBTV time. That's right. Hey, Brad. What's up, man? Looking good on Aurora Della Tesandro. What's up, Aurora? How you doing? And looking good, looking live on YouTube. How we doing on Facebook, guys? Everybody on Facebook okay? Kerry Williams, Rose Wade, Nicole. Hey, how you doing? Paula, Rahul, Michael, Evan, Sakuda, Lisa, and Morgan, and Michelle, Michael, and Jason, and Dolores, and V-Daz, I should say. Not this New Yorker. Bernie, yes, them, no. I love it. Hey, Anita, how you doing? Mark Laprade. What's up, George? What's up, Rose? Good to have you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please do me a favor and share us on your social media. Do us a favor. Do the community a favor. We have a message to get out to the world today, and we're going to do it. We're going to speak that truth to power, people. All right. So, man, my throat has been dry today, man. I try to tell you guys. But nothing serious, guys. Nothing serious. Every time you get a little anything, nowadays we get to worry. But I've been having sinus trouble for 2 years. So don't worry about me. Um, but I will be doing that a lot tonight because I got to keep going, man. We got to power through. We don't take days off. The revolution must continue. First thing I'd like to do is let you know that this show was sponsored by you. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's you. No, not the person behind you. You bring this show to the people. Because frankly, wouldn't nobody pay me to talk like this except you. I know the folks that pay the MSNBC crew don't want to pay this. And you can best believe CNN ain't trying to pay it. Nah, their donors, their advertisers don't want to pay for Tim Black to speak no truth to power. It's not what they do. Yeah, guys. So we just keep going. Let me make sure I'm putting my phone in airplane mode, guys. My bad. Let me do that real quick, because I don't want any problems. You know, we don't want problems. Okay, so first thing I like to do is I would like to give a warm, full-throated, pound on the chest, slap on the back, shout out to Dr. Cornel West for giving me the pleasure of interviewing him today. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Cornel West. Also like to give much respect to his crew. Shout out to Maria for making that possible. Shout out to my crew, K-Love, for making that possible and setting it up. And this was amazing. And I should be finished with the editing, and it will go out early to the Tim Black Wolfpack, and then it will go out to the general public. So thank you very much. I expect to be done with it by tomorrow, no later than midday. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Cornel West, for your time. And guys, you said you want to hear some truth to power, huh? Yeah, you said you want to hear truth to power. I got some of that for you. Yeah, I got a little bit of truth lined up for you. Because something happens when Dr. Cornel West speaks. Like that, remember those commercials, the E.F. Hutton commercials? Everybody be talking, it'd be loud in the diner, and then somebody would say, well, my broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says, and then everybody be quiet. Wouldn't nothing move, man. The flies stopped buzzing, the waitress stopped delivering coffee, whatever. Everybody just focused because E.F. Hutton was talking. Well, that's the way people treat Dr. Cornel West when he speaks. People stop doing whatever they're doing. Even Bootsy Collins would stop. He'd just be like, meow, meow, meow. That's the inside joke for Dr. Cornel West about the Bootsy Collins. That's right, baby bubba. All right, guys. So this show is great because we care, but we don't care. Right? Isn't that what makes a show like this great? We care, but we don't care. We care a whole lot, but then we don't care at all. That is crazy. That's an oxymoron, y'all. We care a lot, but we don't care. Meaning, we care a lot about the issues that we talk about, but we don't care if people get their feelings hurt. Nah, we don't care if they say, you'll never work again in this town. Well, I got news for you, sister. I never worked here to begin with. So you can't fire me if you never hired me. With that, guys, Tim Black's Wolfpack, all you Johnsons, because we are all Johnsons. I'd like to start off tonight's show by highlighting an issue that is very important for us to talk about. I try to do every show starting off with the coronavirus, COVID-19, raise awareness, because unlike some, I do believe it's real. And before we go to that one, let's go to this one. It will be this one, Johnson. Here's the, we go right here. A family ravaged by coronavirus begged for tests, hospital care, but was repeatedly denied. Repeatedly denied. Gary Fowler was only 56 years old. He went to the emergency rooms of 3 Metro Detroit hospitals in the weeks leading up to his death. He begged for a coronavirus test, begging for help because he was having difficulty breathing. He was repeatedly turned away, said his son, Keith Gambrill. This was the heart-wrenching story that features in the USA Today.com website. I think some other entities also picked it up. It was forwarded by my friend Will Oliver. Thank you, Will, for sending this to me. It's a heart-wrenching story, folks, highlighting how certain folks, most vulnerable folks, most impacted folks, most disenfranchised folks, most vulnerable folks, poor folks, just so happens those people most poorest in this country tend to be what? African American. Well, actually, and Dr. Cornell West reminded me, and I'm usually good on this, Native Americans, our indigenous people, very impoverished people. So what was our analogy, folks? Our analogy, when you're on the basement or you're on the first floor of the building, when the waters come in, who gets it the worst? People living in the basement and on the first floor. Third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor, penthouse, fine. Penthouse don't even know there's a problem. Penthouse take the helicopter, the hovercraft. They take the helicopter off the roof. They don't even know there's water in the basement. Water in the basement is seeping up to the first floor. They have no idea, couldn't be bothered. So this is America, and that's what America is. It's one big tall building where the people on the bottom catch hell. All right? Now, Keith Gamble, the son of Gary Fowler, who passed away, he said, my dad passed away at home. No one tried to help him. Gamble, 33, said through tears, he asked for help. They sent him away. Not once, not twice, 3 times, 3 different hospitals told him, that's probably bronchitis. You need to go home, take 2 of these, see me in the morning. You need to go home, take 2 of these, see you some other time. You need to go home and just go home. Just go home. It said in the hours before his death, his breathing was so difficult, Fowler slept sitting up in the bedroom chair, while his wife dozed in the bed by his side. When she woke, her husband of nearly 24 years was gone. He said, my little brother called me saying, Daddy won't wake up. By the time Gamble got across town to their house on the morning of April 7th, police in the emergency room or emergency medical workers were at the house. He said his dad was still on the recliner with a bluish tinge, where a bluish tinge is set in on his fingertips and his lips. He said, I went up and I talked to him. I told him I love him and that I'll see him again one day. And that I'm sorry we couldn't have done more. And that we couldn't even have a funeral for him. I just felt so bad because he was begging for his life. And medical professionals did nothing for him. Now, one thing that's happened during this crisis, this healthcare crisis, this health crisis, this pandemic, this onslaught that has hit America like a raging inferno, is it highlights the health disparities in America. And this country that's known for being the most dominant country, how we say we're so patriotic, those of us, so patriotic, blue-blooded Americans waving the flag, apple pie, baseball, the whole thing. We say all the time, it's the greatest country on earth, greatest country on earth. Well, what's so great about it? If you happen to not have a lot of money, you die. Wouldn't be so great to those people that died because they didn't have a lot of money. We didn't say died because they are bad people. We said died because they didn't have what? Money. We didn't say died because they didn't have religion, or died because they didn't have spinning rims, or died because they didn't read Shakespeare. We said died because they what? Did not have money. Money is not an indicator of ethics. Money is not an indicator of integrity or of benevolence. Money is just a form of transfer in this country. Allotted for the few, not given to the many. So unless you like running around talking about how many channels you got on Netflix or how many programs you have access to on all these streaming services, what good is it being an American if at the end of the day you're not guaranteed health care? You're not guaranteed to be treated like a human being or treated just as well, as well, responsibly, carefully, like a human being, like someone who has what? Money. And don't get it twisted, when we treat white people well, typically it's because we're not sure if they don't have what? Money. Or if they might know somebody who has what? Money. Because it all leads back to money. That's the denominator. Now, 30% of the cases of COVID-19 in the entire state of Michigan are in African American, and about 40% of the deaths. Ironically, African Americans only make up 13% of the population. So 13% of the population, 40% of the deaths. The way some people talk about black privilege, how black people get to say the N-word, you would have thought instead of 13% of the population, 40% of the deaths, we'd be 13% of the population and 40% of the millionaires. Because they like to say, well, look at LeBron, and look at Jordan, and look at this person, look at that person. But that ain't the case, is it, Johnson? No, we say of death. We leave death. Not bouncing cars, not MTV videos. We're talking about death. That's what we really lead in, Johnson. But we had these people who are psychically damaged. They're poisoned because they watch the dumb box. They keep watching the dumb box, and they think black people doing well. They doing better than us. We need to hold them down because they doing well. No, we beating you in dying is what we beating you in. By a long stretch. And even us, we're behind indigenous people. They're beating us. And you got to work really hard to beat us at dying. So this article goes on to highlight the disparities in healthcare, the disparities in health, wellness that lead to this, because we now know that if you have pre-existing conditions, you're more susceptible to this disease, catching it and dying from it. And those people who are most susceptible probably have what? Less of an environment that is promoting good health, less of a diet that promotes good health. And we all know, everybody know, it usually costs more to eat well, don't it? Yeah, you ain't living in a food desert if you eat well. Because you got to have access to what? Good food. You got to have money to eat good food, time to prepare it. It's a lot of things involved. Something else they pointed out too in here is that, as in the story of Mr. Fowler, his father passed away from the disease just before he did. And one of the things that's notable is that poor people tend to live together in more cramped places or spaces, thus infecting one another more readily. Very hard to quarantine off someone when you live in a one-bedroom, Johnson. Not saying that was Mr. Fowler's case, but in general. It says when people in poverty get the disease, isolating from others in the household might not be possible, increasing chances that the virus will spread throughout the entire family. So it goes on and on, guys, with other cases. Now, I talked about this with Dr. Cornell West today. We talked about Wisconsin being one of the first states that actually tracked it from a racial perspective. Not all municipalities or states have done that. But from the data that we're seeing, we see it impacts certain groups of people more dramatically than other groups of people. And right now, there's also talk that Georgia, for instance, who wants to lessen, who today they loosened the restrictions on stay-at-home orders to open up other businesses, places of business. Now, look, guys, as we stated on this show, we understand people who financially are strapped, We understand people who are losing their businesses. And we're not talking about major corporations. We're talking about small business people, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. I get that. I get it all the way. But instead of protesting for you to be able to go into harm's way to make that little bit of money that you're going to make, because like I said, you are a small business. I know what that's like. I'm a small business. I'm actually a small business. You got to whisper it. I'm so small, you got to whisper when you say small business. Yeah, small business. So I already know you ain't making a lot of money. Instead of partitioning for you to be in harm's way, and that woman who wants to, or that man who wants to get their hair done, or their hair cut, or their toes did, or their eyebrows teased, instead of protesting to be able to do that, you should be protesting the government to give you some of that money they gave to big corporations, so that you could wait until the coast is clear. Because the government gave the corporations a lot more money than they gave you. They flipped you a nickel. And then opened the bank vote for the rich and the corporations. You do understand that, don't you? I said they flipped you a quarter. Small business person, if you got that. They flipped you a quarter and then opened the bank vote for them, and you're protesting, why can't you go in harm's way to make your money honestly? What I'm telling you, you're going to have two types of socialism in this country, whether you know it or not. Now, the one you already got is socialism for corporations. We already got that. I say, how about you have socialism for you? I see the airline industry ain't too humble, ain't too proud to beg. They good with it. They had no problems. Didn't lose a minute of sleep. Went right to sleep. Didn't stay up a minute longer. Worried about somebody talking about them taking money. They fine with it. Banks didn't lose a minute of sleep. Slept like babies, just like lambs, just knocked out. Couldn't wake them if you tried. They were in hibernation mode. Didn't have a problem taking that money. But you, well, I don't want a handout. Them corporations elbowed you out the way and said, I do. Go sit your ass down. I got this. Give me all you got, government. Hold up. Give me some more. Give me some more on that. Give me some more on that. Meanwhile, the CEOs of these companies are not even going to be on the front lines, Johnson. They're not even going to be in harm's way. They're going to be somewhere else while the frontline workers take all the risk. So, once again, folks, for the people in the cheap seats, and they're all cheap seats, Johnson, if you're a working person like I am, like you are, family ravaged by coronavirus, begged for tests, hospital care, but was repeatedly denied. My condolences. My condolences to the Fowler family. Keith Gamble. And to all those affected by the coronavirus, those who say that this is not real, it's too real. All right. All right. Tim Black's Wolfpack. Something happened today. People, we're going to address it here. In a democracy, something uniquely happens in a democracy that doesn't happen in a communist country. People vote, and their votes count. Now, I'm not suggesting we live in a democracy because I'm not altogether certain our votes always count, Johnson. Or should I say a fascist country? They vote in communist countries, don't they? They probably have a better exit poll analysis than we do. Yeah, something happens different in monarchies or communist countries or something. Let's just say this. America, I don't know if we want to call this a democracy or not. We can call it a lot of things, but I don't know if we can call it democratic. The word republic comes to mind. You say republic, right? People always try to correct me. Tim, is not a democracy, it's a republic. Okay. Here's the deal. Today, New York decided they don't need to vote. They decided, the New York State Board of Elections decided, we don't need to hold a primary. We good. Thank you. Disenfranchise all the voters in New York. disenfranchise voters in New York. They used the disclaimer when Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign, so why are we going to have a vote? Because we don't vote to vote. We vote for delegates. Our whole system is based on delegates. Delegate designations. Delegates won. Delegates lost. That's how we elect a president. That's the whole idea of electoral college. It's representative election. Every vote is not every vote is counted. It's the delegates that you get. And if you don't have an election, you have not elected what? Your delegates who go to the convention. This is how our voting works. So if you if you cancel the primaries, you do what effectively? You got rid of voting. There is no voting. You have broken the system, the election system. And not in a good way, Johnson. You've broken it. You have bastardized it. You have taken away the power of the people. And I don't know about you, but I like at least the facade of voting. I like the facade of us having a say. So the other thing about it that's very tricky is that Bernie Sanders' name was still going to appear on the ballot. They took that off. Yeah, they scrubbed that off. They said, oh, well, he's suspended. We won't take him off. We don't take him off the ballot. Because, see, up until they did that, you could vote for him. And, I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of hoping that maybe maybe even the vote blue any-who's might care that Joe Biden allegedly is a rapist. Maybe they kind of care about that. Maybe they would kind of factor that in. I don't know. But maybe they care about that. I don't know. But New York canceled its primary election anyway, and it angered Sanders supporters. It angered Sanders supporters. Didn't anger Biden supporters, even though they weren't petitioning for the cancellation of the primaries in New York. But they weren't angry about it, though, because they're like, hey, we win. That's good for us, Johnson. Okay, so shortly after this announcement was made by the New York Board of Elections, Jeff Weaver, senior advisor, formerly, I don't know if he still is, senior advisor for the 2020 Bernie Sanders campaign, he put out a statement. He said, the decision was an outrage and a blow to American democracy. He also called for the Democratic National Committee to overturn it. What the Board of Elections is ignoring is that the primary process not only leads to a nominee, but also the selection of delegates, which helps determine the platform and rules of the Democratic Party. Weaver went on a call for New York to lose its delegates should the primary remain canceled. So, okay. I like what Doug Kilner said because it crystallizes very, very plainly what the establishment thinks of Bernie supporters. Doug said, what the Sanders campaign wanted essentially is a beauty contest. And given the situation with public health, that seems to be unnecessary and indeed frivolous. Yeah, it's frivolous to want to cast your vote. Now, look, guys, I'm not suggesting at all that people should go outside and stand in long lines during a pandemic in close proximity to anyone. I'm not suggesting that. I don't think anybody on the Sanders campaign would suggest that. It's not what we want. It's not what I want. Hopefully, my wolf pack understands that. We got this thing called mail. Yeah, we got mail. Because you can send stuff now. We got mail. We got this thing. We've had it in America for over 100 years where you mail stuff in. Why can't we mail in our votes? For years, we've been mailing in our taxes, and you've been good with it. Why can't we, in this unprecedented time, you got a little time to get yourself together. Woo, got a lot of changes to make. Okay, let's get a staff together. It's just New York, one state, mail in the votes. Why do you need to cancel the primary when you can just mail in the votes. As I stated earlier, what it has something to do with, maybe it's possible some Democratic primary voters might decide they don't want to vote for a potential rapist. Maybe that's it. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know why. I know also, guys, I just got a feeling, and I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Do you think if Bernie was winning, they'd cancel any opportunity to stop him? I'm just wondering. It's just a question. I'm, being facetious. If Bernie was winning, do you think the the New York State Board of Elections would cancel an opportunity to, vote? Stop it. I don't think they would, Johnson. I think they would have extra voting. They'd have more voting. They'd set up more opportunities. Sort of like with the debates. That one debate we had and we're like, well, that's good. That's okay. We're good. Biden got up there and lied like a rug. People act like he didn't. He still won. He lied half the time. Yeah, but it was convincing lies. It's not really a lie if you don't fact check it. If Bernie... So just like that, they were able to all of a sudden, well, that's enough debates. What? We had 5 with Hillary. Why are we going to have 1 with Biden? Oh, because this is shut up and go to sleep, Johnson. Dumb Bernie supporters. We don't need to explain to you why we cheat or how we do it. Just know we do it. We make the rules here, Bernie supporters. But come November, you better vote for our guy or it's all your fault. Yeah, it's all your fault. Milquetoast neoliberal. That's who we're going to run. Another uncharismatic, unexciting milquetoast neoliberal. We're going to run that person again. Hillary Clinton in a pair of slacks, driving a Corvette with an ice cream cone, but the same policy, same person, in some ways worse. We're going to run that thing again. And if that doesn't work, we're going to blame you again and just stick with another 4 years of Trump because, we can't have Bernie Sanders coming in here upsetting the apple cart. We got checks already being cut. We got palms already being greased. We can't have somebody coming in here trying to, give people Medicare, Medicaid, trying to, right the system and, close the racial wealth gap. Can't have that. We gotta crucify that guy. We can't have that happen. We can't have somebody with a real movement come into power in America. No, we can't have that at all. We gotta get rid of that. No. We'll take more Trump if we gotta take more Trump. And that, my friends, is exactly what they are prepared to do. In fact, I think they want to do that more than they want to do anything else, Johnson. Officials said they struggled with the decision, but they ultimately concluded that the risk of spreading coronavirus was too great to justify holding an election with no real meaning. Once again, the real meaning is elections pick delegates. It'd be different if we didn't have mail. It'd be different if we didn't have all types of ways that we decide on other stuff. Why can't we communicate who we're voting for in another way besides people showing up in person? This is all BS, guys. No one's showing up at the government building down here. What's the address of the Department of Justice? Not Department of Justice. Where's the address of the Treasury? The Treasury. Down here with New Hampshire Avenue, where's it at? Everybody not flying from D.C. in to get their stimulus check, are they? So, U.S. government is fine with electronically sending or snail mail sending checks out. $1 trillion, right? Something like that. Fine with that. But New York can't check its mail because that's too much for New York. New York couldn't handle getting mail from its citizens in its state who pay taxes. They make it seem like this would be too much for them to have to deal with. It's just something that only happens every 4 years. In unprecedented situations, where's the flexibility? There is no flexibility when they already feel like we don't owe you anything. You don't matter. We matter. Money talks, the rest walks. And then the thing to add insult to injury, Andrew Cuomo weighed in and said, well, Bernie's suspended, so what's the problem? Listen, Andrew Cuomo, first of all, just because you get on your little live streams and, you talk about the pandemic and you say such basic things like everyone needs to stay in the house. And people clap. I can't believe it. Finally, someone said it. He says, you say very articulate problem-solving salutations like, people need to wear masks. Yeah, Andrew Cuomo. Wow, he's so great. That guy is it. He's the bee's knees. Such groundbreaking solutions finding and leadership shown by Andrew Cuomo, who today said, we need more ventilators. Get us more ventilators. Wow, he should be president. Yeah, something, Andrew Cuomo, you don't impress me. You don't impress me at all, sir. I'm not impressed by you or anything that you talk about on your press conferences. You don't need to weigh in on anything. What you need to do is recognize that your 10 minutes, it should have been 3. Your 10 minutes, because see, we all know you run rackets down here in New York City. We know what you're really into. You're basically organized crime in New York. Come on, we know that. You in bed with everything slimy, scummy, and sleazy in New York. We also know that the people that like you don't live in New York, because people in New York don't like you by and large. I never heard anyone ever say who lived in New York, who wasn't of the 1% say, hey, man, we got a great governor. Man, I love New York, especially our governor. Those are words that are never said because no one's felt about that way about you or about Bloomberg, okay? So you're not a leader. Your words are not inspirational, nor are they innovative, nor are your solutions highbrow or very, very savvy. What you are is a tool who's using this moment to expedite your own career. So basically what I'm saying is shut up. We don't want to hear your suggestions. Don't chime in on what a democracy looks like. Especially someone who had the audacity to cut Medicaid during a pandemic should shut up forever. You should shut up for 2 forevers. You should not be allowed to talk at all. Only place you should be allowed to talk is in your local pizzeria when you are picking up matzo balls or whatever the hell it is, and you are kicking it with your little brother Chris. That's the only time you should be able to talk. Jackass. I don't have to take it from you. I've been to New York. My mama from New York. I know what New York's about. We all know what it's about. Who are these people who think you are leadership? Who are these people that think you should be, we should get Cuomo to be, we should get rid of Biden and get Cuomo? Shows you know nothing about his politics whatsoever. Why do you think Cynthia Nixon was going so hard at him? Because he's horrible. All right. Let's do this. We'll say that for last. We'll end it on a funny note. Okay? Prick. You guys ready? We'll do this. Yeah, well, you know what, guys? Come on, give me, you know what? We'll do a 30-second break. We'll come back. I got 2 more stories to cover. Elizabeth Warren may be Biden's VP pick. You know I got some choice words about that. And then we got some news about Diamond and Silk that is, you ain't going to want to miss that. Right back. New Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious. They are revolutionary. And they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack. Yeah. Number 3. Welcome back to the show, guys. You will be surprised to find this, as I find it, very surprising. A lot of Democrats think that Elizabeth Warren would be a great pick for Joe Biden as VP pick. Poll finds Elizabeth Warren VP pick most likely to pull in Bernie Sanders voters. Now, I don't know what Bernie Sanders supporters they were talking to, but evidently there are some Bernie Sanders supporters out there who do believe that Elizabeth Warren would be the best choice. Now, this information is based on a poll that was done, polling potential tickets, done by an organization called Data for Progress. All right, so here goes the first slide. First slide here. Both Sanders and Warren supporters are more likely to support Biden with Warren on the ticket. Okay, here we go. Much more likely, 25%. Who did you support in the Democratic primary? Biden, Bernie, Warren. So would you be more or less likely to support Joe Biden for president against Republican Donald Trump if he chose the following as his vice presidential nominee? Okay? So as you can see here, these are the people who did support in the Democratic primary. This is how much they would support Elizabeth. 61%. Let's jump back here. 61% of the Sanders supporters who would be more likely to vote for a Biden-Warren ticket compared to 42% for a Harris ticket, a Biden-Harris ticket, and 33% for a Biden-Klobuchar ticket, and 26% for a Biden-Abrams ticket. Very interesting. Also, slide number 2. Biden-Warren 2, here we go. Biden-Warren 2 says, Sanders supporters are excited about the prospect of Warren as a VP. Okay, like I said, I don't know who these people are. Would you be more or less likely to support Joe Biden for president against Republican Donald Trump if he chose the following as his vice presidential nominee? Attitudes among Sanders supporters by Democratic vice presidential nominee. 35%. Sanders supporters, 33% of them would, much more likely vote for Biden. 28% would somewhat more likely. 30% just the same. 6% less likely and somewhat less likely. Marginal. As you can see, the potential nominee or the potential running mate with the most support from Sanders supporters is Elizabeth Warren. Last and final slide. Slide BD Warren 3. Here we go. Booyaka. Black voters. We know this is the voting bloc that Democrats need in order to ever win an election again. I don't know why they keep winning it when they don't do anything for these people. And when we even ask, people say it's racist. But black voters are enthusiastic about a hypothetical Biden-Warren ticket. Would you be more or less likely to support Joe Biden for vice president against Republican Donald Trump if he chose to follow him as his vice presidential nominee? This is what black voters said. Okay. Okay. 29% more likely. 23% somewhat more likely. 30% about the same. 7 and 11. All right? 7 and 11% somewhat less likely and much less likely. So overall, black supporters are a little bit more critical of Elizabeth Warren than, say, white folks or Democrats in general. And they look like they favor, they like her a little bit more than Kamala still. That's very close, 29 to 30, but then there's a drop-off in the somewhat more likely. So, yeah, she's a little bit more favored. She's still the most favored. Still the most favored. About the same with Stacey Abrams. Look at this. Okay. Ugh. All right. So this is where we are. Now, back to the fun part. Here goes the fun part, Johnson. I don't care what that paper says. I don't care what it says. How many people you talk to? 50? And where'd you talk to them at? Why didn't I get polled? Me and Mrs. Black did not get our poll. You should send us a poll. We live here. What about us? Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Elizabeth Warren burnt the bridges with the progressive left. We are talking about Sanders supporters. Both I and Mrs. Black voted for Bernie last election. Why aren't they asking us this time? So we are considered Sanders supporters. I also donated to the campaign. Both of us did. So why aren't we considered in their polling? So once again, a poll is only as good as the data that's put in the polling sample size that it uses. That be that as it may, we do have to face reality and say, well, you know what, it might be some people that say they're progressive or some Sanders supporters are not as progressive as we think they are for whatever reason, okay? So when people talk about leverage on Bernie Sanders, these people, are they actually taking in mind or bearing in mind that we have some people that their leverage, the potential of leverage is not the same as some others. Like there are some others who are not as vehement supporters, as I've been learning, as some other folks. Meaning it's a steep hill to climb. Some of these Sanders supporters still didn't get the memo that Elizabeth should have dropped out and endorsed Bernie Sanders after she saw it was clear that she had no path. So it was okay to take his policies, use them as her own, water them down, and then stay in the race until he was totally hosed, and then come out and support Biden. And now she wants on the ticket. And I saw her uncharacteristically give a direct answer to a question recently. Just so happens that wasn't a question about reparations, which I kept hearing everyone talk about when Bernie was running. When Bernie was out there, all I kept hearing from a certain group of people was what about reparations? What about reparations? When you asked Warren about reparations, if you did ask her, she had nothing to say. Oh, that's right, she supported it. She stopped talking about it now, didn't she, Johnson? Or the fact that anything of substance, whether it be Medicare for all, whether it be closing the racial wealth gap. The only thing she talked about was that housing, which was very interesting. But if you back down on all your other legislation, who trusts you to fight for any legislation? And another thing about Elizabeth Warren that always rubbed me the wrong way was she always called herself a fighter. Where I come from, people that say they can fight usually can't fight, Johnson. Yeah, most of the people who talked about, I can fight, I'm a fighter, got knocked out quick. They got mopped and boo-wopped and be-wopped and dragged up out of there. The people that can fight are people that didn't always talk about how they were a fighter. It's what we call wolf tickets. So that's the deal with Elizabeth Warren. For some reason, Biden has this thing in his head, or the polling data, whatever they're using, and I'm sure they are doing their, whatever triangulation and poll testing and focus group monitoring or whatever they call it, to determine who's the best choice. A list that would include neoliberals like Stacey Abrams and Amy Klobuchar is not a list that will incite, excite, or invite any progressives. Not any worth their salt. But by all means, waste as much money that you don't have on it. Sometimes being a sellout comes back to haunt you. Yeah, sometimes being a sellout comes back to haunt you. Sometimes being a preacher of false news, fake news, bad narratives, and dangerous crap can cost you your job. Now, I know typically in the United States, in our media environment, it actually creates jobs and creates wealth to be a lying scumbag liar. That's pretty good. It actually creates wealth to be a scumbag liar in America. But sometimes it doesn't work. Such is the case with your friends Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk lost their job today. Diamond and Silk, the shucksters and the hucksters of the Trump train, the Trump fame, the Stump for Trump girls, as they were famously named. So happy, joy. They lost their job today. But Tim Black, why'd they lose their jobs? Oh, because they should have never had jobs, Johnson. At least not doing what they've been doing. Listen, Fox News cuts ties with Diamond and Silk, the unofficial Trump advisors, who spread bonkers coronavirus claims. See, that's why I got a problem with this. Now, I don't have a problem with them losing their jobs at Fox. I don't have a problem with them losing anything in media. Any job in media, I don't think they should be employed by any entity. Okay? I got a question if they are a sideshow or if they were actually supposed to be commentators or journalists or I don't know what have you. Okay? They were just a bad comedy show with no jokes. How you going to do a comedy show and had no punchlines? I never really understood it. Oh, that's right. They were the punchline. That's what I didn't like about them. But like I said, I don't have a problem with them being fired. What I got a problem is what they were being fired for. They're being fired for spreading false coronavirus claims. You got to fire more people. Yeah, you just can't fire the two goofy black chicks and think it's a wrap. There are others on Fox News who also spread falsehoods. Sean Hannity did the same thing. He was talking about Wuhan and people in labs. No evidence at all, just talking. Somebody put something on a blog site. He just talked about it. There were others. What's his name? What are these people's name? I forget this guy with the fake hair. I mean, everybody did. Like not everybody, but a lot of them did. Ingram's, she said some stuff. Like all of them had various degrees of spreading stuff. Tucker Carlson, he brought somebody on and tried to be like, well, I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but I've been hearing this. Is there any truth to the fact that maybe this could have been made in China and maybe it was a lab and maybe they did this on purpose? Yeah, that was Tucker. He did that. And the guy with the fake hair, I don't know this guy. Who's this guy? This guy. I don't know this other guy. The guy with Sean. Him too. Get him too. All of them. So my thing is this. I don't feel bad for Diamond and Silk, but fair is fair. Fair is fair. Get everybody. Round them all up. Fire them all. I mean, if that's the reason why you're firing people. If you're firing them because they suck, cool. No complaints. No complaints at all if you fire them on a lack of ability to actually do a job in journalism or in commentating anything in news related. But if you're firing them because of an infraction of spreading fake news, hey, you got to fire all of Fox. All of them got to go. They got to go. Everybody in the whole newsroom. Just fire the whole newsroom, start over. Better yet, lease it out to Tim Black for no charge for 3 years, and I'll just put together a progressive network, and I'll handpick people that didn't sell out on the left, and we'll get you some ratings, because we're going to be just as critical of the Democrats as you were, but ours will be based on substance, not bullshit. I mean, you want money, right? Isn't that the whole thing, Johnson? Like I said, I pick people who want sellouts, so some of you need to calm down. The ones who couldn't wait to get in MSNBC or CNN so you could fake and shuck and jive like Fox is. So like people on MSNBC and CNN's they're doing the same thing. And there are people clamoring to get in that door. Don't even want to. They don't want to keep it real. Finances make whores of a lot of us. But at the end of the day, Johnson, you don't have to like Diamond Silk to keep it real and to say more people need to go. And if you want to keep it all the way real, there's some people on Fox News, the center right, or whatever these people call themselves. I know what they project in their minds to be. Some of these liberals, these gooey milquetoast neoliberals, they need to go as well, but for different reasons. Maybe they're not spreading it about coronavirus. Maybe they're using identity politics to disempower black people, gay people, LGBTQ, Latinos, Native American, indigenous people, Asian people, and then using it against them, women, using it against them in order to keep the 1% and keep status quo by using the veneer of diversity. So this is what's happening, guys. Let's keep it 100. That's what we do here. But am I sorry to see them go? Hell no. And don't come to me when they black. Don't do that to the black ones. Yeah, do that. Come on, man. This ain't 1930. There's other places to get work. There's other ways to earn a living besides lying daily to whoever was stupid enough to pay attention to you. All right, that's all we got, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm now go read the comments section and see if people made any comments, and I must read out to the world, or at least people watching. We got a few people out here. Thank you, few people, for being here. I thank y'all. I know we are an acquired taste. David said, why Jimmy? I don't know. Kat Lloyd said, thanks for being you. Thank you. Sheldon Hughes says, hey. And Survivor Murray says, stimulus checks for loyal soldier. Tim Black, still Sanders. Always, brother. Always Survivor Murray. Thank you, Murray. Tanya A says, polls, I think Johnson are like part of the mainstream media, also manufacturing consent. If you keep insisting more, maybe people will follow. When it comes to Bernie crowd, they only hope. It's their only hope. I agree with that. And Gregarious, thank you, and Gregarious. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Wow. All right, guys. Hey, we don't worry about what other people do here. We are focused on what we're focused on, which is getting the message out, speaking truth to power, and feeling totally rejuvenated after the interview today with Dr. Cornel West and him speaking truth to power, man. It's always great to have an opportunity to talk to someone who inspires you, who motivates you. Hopefully, I do that for you guys. And we're going to be holding a virtual meet and greet Saturday. So more information to come. And maybe you want to attend that. And maybe I can inspire somebody like I was inspired today. I mean, I'm no Cornel West, but I'll do my best. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow we open up phone lines, 10 p.m.-ish. Be here. Call in. Speak your own truth to power. I got nothing but love for you. Stay safe. Don't forget, don't let nobody take your cornbread. And sprinkle some facts on them, Johnson. Peace.